In the heart of the Canadian Arctic, where temperatures plummet to 40 below zero and the sun barely kisses the horizon, a kingdom ruled not by crowns but by fangs stretches endlessly across the frozen wasteland. Here, in this primordial theater of ice and shadow, lives one of nature's most sophisticated predators, the gray wolf. The wind howls like a banshee across the tundra, carrying with it the promise of death and the whisper of ancient secrets. Through this alabaster maze of snowdrifts and ice formations, yellow eyes pierce the perpetual twilight. They belong to Kodiak, a magnificent alpha male whose coal-black coat stands stark against the pristine wilderness. At 180 pounds of pure muscle and instinct, he is the undisputed sovereign of this frozen realm. Kodiak's breath forms crystalline clouds in the Arctic air as he surveys his territory from a wind-carved ridge. His pack of 12 wolves moves like liquid shadow beneath him, their forms barely distinguishable from the undulating landscape. Among them, his mate Luna, a silver-coated female with intelligence burning bright in her amber eyes, tends to their most precious cargo. 4 wolf pups barely 3 months old, their playful yips echoing across the silence like forgotten laughter. But this is no fairy tale. In the Arctic, beauty and brutality dance together in an eternal waltz. The pack hasn't fed in 6 days. Their ribs show through their thick winter coats, and the pups grow weaker with each passing hour. The caribou herds have moved further north, following ancient migration routes that seem to mock the wolves' growing desperation. As twilight deepens into the purple embrace of Arctic night, Kodiak raises his massive head and releases a howl that sends shivers through the very soul of the wilderness. It's a sound that speaks of hunger, of determination, and of the primal promise that tomorrow the hunt will begin again. In the distance, something answers, a weak, desperate call that makes every wolf in the pack lift their heads with sudden, terrible interest. The kingdom of wolves is stirring, and blood will soon stain the virgin snow. As dawn breaks over the frozen expanse, casting long purple shadows across the snow, the wolf pups emerge from their den, a natural cave carved into a granite outcropping. Their innocent eyes sparkle with curiosity, oblivious to the harsh realities that govern their world. The smallest, a charcoal gray female the pack has come to know as Storm, tumbles playfully through the snow, her siblings close behind. But in the kingdom of wolves, even play carries the weight of survival. Luna watches with maternal vigilance as her offspring engage in what appears to be harmless roughhousing. Yet every mock battle, every playful pounce, every gentle bite is a lesson written in the ancient language of predators. Storm pins her larger brother Thunder beneath her tiny paws, her milk teeth finding the soft spot behind his ear, the exact location where a killing bite would be delivered to prey. Kodiak approaches with calculated steps, his massive form casting a protective shadow over his family. Without warning, he drops a fresh rabbit carcass into the midst of the playing pups. Instantly, the playful atmosphere transforms into something far more serious. The pups' eyes narrow, their playful yips replaced by low, tentative growls. This is their first lesson in the hierarchy of hunger. Storm, despite being the smallest, shows remarkable boldness. She approaches the carcass with lowered head and flattened ears, instinctively displaying the body language of dominance. Her brothers watch, torn between hunger and uncertainty. Luna observes silently, knowing that these moments will shape which of her children will survive the brutal months ahead. The lesson intensifies as Ghost Kodiak's battle-scarred lieutenant returns from a scouting mission. His yellow eyes carry news that makes every adult wolf's ears prick forward. He approaches Kodiak with the ritualistic submission of pack hierarchy, then delivers information through a complex series of body movements and low whines. Caribou, a small herd 3 miles north. But there's something else in Ghost's message, something that makes Kodiak's lips curl back from his fangs in anticipation. Among the herd, Ghost has detected weakness, old injuries, perhaps disease, or simply the cruel arithmetic of winter taking its toll. The pups continue their innocent squabbling over the rabbit, but the adults have already begun the mental preparation for what comes next. In the kingdom of wolves, mercy is a luxury they cannot afford. The Arctic wind carries secrets that only the wolves can read. As the pack moves in single file across the frozen landscape, their massive paws creating a highway of prints in the deep snow, every breath brings intelligence from the world ahead. Kodiak leads, his black nose working like a sophisticated radar system, parsing the complex symphony of scents that dance on the frigid air. 3 miles feels like 30 in this unforgiving terrain, but the wolves move with the fluid efficiency of a machine designed by evolution itself. Behind Kodiak, Luna matches his pace perfectly, her silver coat rippling with each powerful stride. The pups have been left in the safety of the den, under the watchful eye of grandmother, an ancient female whose hunting days are behind her but whose wisdom runs deeper than the permafrost. As they crest a wind-blown ridge, the pack freezes in perfect unison. Below them, scattered across a valley of pristine white, moves their salvation, a herd of caribou, perhaps 40 strong. But Kodiak's trained eye sees what Ghost had detected. This is not a healthy, vibrant herd. These are the stragglers, the wounded, the desperate survivors of a migration gone wrong. Among the caribou, one animal immediately captures the alpha's attention. A mature bull, his once magnificent antlers now cracked and asymmetrical, limps noticeably on his left foreleg. Dark stains in the snow mark his passage, blood from a wound that refuses to heal in the brutal cold. His labored breathing creates larger vapor clouds than the others, each exhalation a testament to his failing strength. Luna's amber eyes lock onto a pregnant cow standing slightly apart from the main herd. Her swollen sides speak of new life but also of vulnerability. In her current state, she cannot run with the desperate speed that might mean the difference between life and death. The pack spreads out along the ridge like a living shadow, each wolf taking position according to a battle plan written in their DNA. Kodiak's second in command, Ghost, circles wide to the east while the younger males, Frost and Blade, move west. This is no chaotic charge of mindless beasts, but the calculated deployment of nature's most efficient killing machine. Below them, unaware of the death that watches from above, the caribou continue their desperate search for lichen beneath the snow. The injured bull raises his head, his dark eyes scanning the horizon. For a moment, predator and prey lock gazes across the valley of white silence. The hunt is about to begin.
The dance of death begins with absolute silence. Kodiak's massive form seems to melt into the landscape as he initiates the ancient choreography that has played out across these frozen wastes for millennia. Each movement is deliberate, calculated, perfect. His black coat becomes one with the shadows cast by wind-carved ice formations, making him virtually invisible against the mottled terrain. The wounded caribou bull continues to graze, his damaged leg forcing him to shift weight awkwardly with each step. Blood droplets mark his path like a crimson breadcrumb trail leading to his doom. Ghost materializes from the eastern approach, his scarred muzzle barely visible above a snowdrift. Years of hunting have taught him to read the micro-movements of prey, the slight ear twitch that signals alertness, the head lift that precedes flight. From the west, Frost and Blade move like liquid mercury across the frozen ground. Frost, barely 2 years old, displays remarkable patience as he freezes mid-stride, allowing a nervous caribou cow to look directly at him without recognition. Luna coordinates the southern approach, her silver coat catching and dispersing the weak Arctic sunlight like scattered diamonds. She understands her role perfectly, not just as hunter, but as the tactical genius who will drive the prey toward the killing zone her mate has already selected. The pregnant cow senses something amiss. Her ears swivel like radar dishes, searching for the source of her growing unease. She takes 3 tentative steps toward the main herd, but it's already too late. The wolves have positioned themselves with such precision that every escape route now leads towards greater danger. Kodiak crouches lower, his powerful haunches coiled like loaded springs. The injured bull is now less than 50 yards away, still unaware that he has wandered into a carefully constructed death trap. The alpha's yellow eyes calculate distance, wind direction, and the precise angle of attack that will bring down 400 pounds of struggling prey with maximum efficiency. The moment hangs suspended like a crystal of ice in the Arctic air. Predator and prey exist in the same space but different worlds, one driven by desperate hunger, the other by the simple desire to live another day. Then Kodiak moves. The explosion of violence shatters the Arctic silence like thunder. Kodiak launches himself from his concealed position with the devastating power of an avalanche given flesh and fang. His 180-pound frame becomes a black missile of muscle and bone, covering the 50 yards to his target in mere heartbeats. The injured caribou bull's head snaps up in terror, his eyes wide with the sudden understanding that death has finally found him. But the bull is no easy victim. Despite his wounded leg, survival instinct ignites within him like wildfire. He pivots on his good legs and breaks into a desperate gallop. his cracked antlers lowered like ancient weapons. Snow explodes around his hooves as he charges directly toward what he perceives as his only escape route, straight into Luna's waiting jaws. The silver female rises from her concealment like a wraith materializing from nightmare. Her timing is flawless, her positioning perfect. As the panicked bull thunders toward her, she sidesteps with liquid grace and launches herself at his throat. Her fangs find their mark, sinking deep into the vital arteries that carry life through his massive neck. The caribou's bellow of pain and terror echoes across the valley, a primal scream that speaks of the brutal mathematics of survival. Blood, shocking red against the pristine white snow, begins to paint abstract patterns of death across the frozen canvas. From the east, Ghost and the younger wolves converge on the struggling pair. The bull, despite Luna's death grip on his throat, still possesses enough strength to be dangerous. His flailing hooves could shatter bone. His antlers could disembowel an unwary predator. Kodiak reaches them first, his massive jaws clamping down on the bull's hindquarters with crushing force. The sound of breaking bone cracks across the Arctic air like gunfire. The caribou's back legs collapse, sending him crashing to his knees in the crimson-stained snow. But even as life ebbs from the bull, the rest of the caribou herd has erupted into panicked flight. The pregnant cow, heavy with her unborn calf, struggles to keep pace with her fleeing companions. Her labored breathing creates desperate clouds of vapor as she fights against the biological burden that may cost her everything. Ghost breaks away from the kill and streaks after her, his scarred face a mask of predatory focus. The secondary hunt has begun, and in the kingdom of wolves, mercy remains a stranger. The pregnant caribou cow's desperate flight becomes a tragic ballet performed on nature's cruelest stage. Her swollen sides heave with each labored breath as Ghost closes the distance with relentless determination. But as the scarred wolf prepares to bring down his second victim of the day, the frozen wilderness reveals one of its most shocking secrets. From the ridge above, a shadow detaches itself from the ice-covered rocks. Massive, hulking, with claws that could tear through steel, a polar bear, driven south by the changing ice patterns, materializes like a white specter of death. The great bear has been tracking the same caribou herd, and the scent of fresh blood has awakened something primal and terrible in his ancient brain. Ghost, focused entirely on his fleeing prey, doesn't sense the approaching doom until it's almost too late. The bear's roar splits the Arctic air like the sound of the world ending. It's a sound that freezes blood and stops hearts, a reminder that even apex predators can become prey in the blink of an eye. The scarred wolf skids to a halt in the snow, his predatory focus instantly shifting to survival mode. Behind him, the pregnant cow continues her desperate escape, her unborn calf giving her strength she didn't know she possessed. The bear, weighing nearly 1,000 pounds, moves with surprising speed across the frozen ground, his black eyes fixed on Ghost with single-minded hunger. Back at the kill site, Kodiak's head snaps up from the fallen caribou bull. His alpha instincts scream danger as he witnesses his lieutenant facing death incarnate. Luna releases her grip on the bull's throat, blood staining her silver muzzle crimson. Her maternal instincts war with pack loyalty. Her pups wait back at the den, but Ghost is family too. The pack begins to converge on the confrontation, but they all understand the terrible mathematics of this encounter. 12 wolves against a mature polar bear is not the certain victory it might appear to be. Ghost backs away slowly, his lips pulled back to reveal his fangs in a display of defiance that borders on the suicidal. The bear rises on his hind legs, towering nearly 10 feet tall, a mountain of white death that blots out the pale Arctic sun. The kingdom of wolves is about to learn that even kings can fall.